Hello, all you beautiful, wonderful, amazing, spectacular tea people. Today, I have a trio of red, fresh, well, some of them are fresh, relatively fresh red oolongs from the last little while. And wherever you are, I certainly hope you're doing absolutely wonderfully well. Today, we'll talk about red oolongs. We'll talk about what red oolongs are, why they exist, and what exactly will happen with the red oolongs that will be on the site. Two of these I've already bought, so I apologize. I'm not doing a live first tasting of these teas. But I will have two of these on the site, hopefully by Sunday. So on Sunday, I am going to release as many teas as I possibly can. If you guys are out there in North America, I certainly hope you are having a wonderful holiday. Sunday, it'd be Sunday night for most people in North America. Extremely early, well, middle of the night for people in North America, or sorry, for people in Europe, and in Asia, it is, well, what is it? It's Monday morning. Nothing special. There are no. What's the best way to describe it? There are no Labor Days except for the one in May here in Taiwan. And so, when we're looking at sort of Labor Days and things like that, that's the one people talk about. But it's also tied up, the one in May is tied up with politics. And so there's not really people don't talk about Labor Day too much. So today is a normal day here in the beautiful island, on the beautiful island of Taiwan, on the beautiful East Coast. Now, today we are doing these three teas. There's been people asking about red oolongs. Now, red oolongs, I absolutely love red oolongs. There's a bunch of reasons why I absolutely love red oolongs, but the biggest one being it hits the Western taste point, it just hits like a bell, just like it hits the Western taste point perfectly. Because in the West, people are used to darker teas, right? So people are used to the black teas. And they're also used to teas that are disgusting, right? Teabag teas. So they are just nasty in every single possible way you can imagine. Everything from the way that they are produced, the labor practices. I can go on and on and on. I'm not going to go on and on and on. Chances are, if you guys are watching this, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. And so people are used to that and they enjoy it, and it's comfort, right? It's a comfort thing, like you're drinking the black tea, the black tea bags, the Lipton teas, the red rose, whatever it is, wherever you're from. And so when you get a red oolong and you're getting sort of the black tea taste, but without the black tea catches, right? There's no bitterness, there's no astringency if it's good. And so, yes, freshly shaven. Yes, today, actually last night I shaved, so I'm freshly shaven. I'm back to the way I looked before. My family was, they just didn't like it anymore. Amen. They just didn't like it anymore. And fair enough. So I'm back to this. Maybe in the wintertime I'll grow it again. But I really wanted to get it down to here, which I did, and then I checked it off the bucket list of things I've done. And so we're back to clean shaven, no hat even today. So it's just full guang. Which means bright in Chinese. So guangtou means a bright head, which is what I have, right? And so, anyways, the point is, with red oolongs, you're getting a taste point and a taste preference that most people really, really enjoy if you're from the West. Now, the red oolongs that we have on the site, I've got to go get some more of the Luye red, but there are two teas that I have not had for a while. One is the converter, which is right here with the converter. I'll probably rename it because this is not really a Samaka-e. It's really strong, but it's not really a Samaka-e. Then over here, this is the honey black oolong, but I'm not going to, well, anyways, we'll talk about why. I'm not going to get this one. I'm waiting for the wintertime one. So there won't be any honey black oolong again until maybe December. Probably late November, early December is when I'll get some more of this in. But this one, for anybody out there who has been a fan of the site for years and years, this one you might be a little bit excited about this, because this one is actually the Alishan, organic Alishan Red Oolong. And I haven't had organic Alishan Red Oolong on the site for years. So years. So I don't know how many years now, like, how many years now? Probably 4. No, not that many. 3. Anyways, 3 years. I haven't had this tea on the site for 3 years. And last night I tried it. I bought it. It's coming to the site. And that's what this tea is. And we'll talk about this one as well. And we'll talk about why I haven't had it on the site for 3 years. And so that's this tea right here, and it's coming back on the site. Now, we talked about sort of the taste profile of the red oolong, how it's made. And the red oolong is, as far as I know, I could be wrong, but I think the red oolong is one of the quintessential, along with high mountain oolongs, one of the quintessential Taiwanese types of teas. And I do not know anywhere else that has a red oolong. And I think it is. If in the comments or right now, if you're listening, if you know better than me, I'm not claiming I know all about tea, but I'm pretty sure I've never seen a red oolong anywhere else in the world. And maybe I don't think I've ever seen it. Certainly nothing that's been called a red oolong. I'm sure in Yunnan province, there'll be some Taiwanese guys that went over there and planted some tea and made like a red oolong. But, or in Vietnam, I'm sure the same thing has happened, but they would be sort of Taiwanese tea masters that would go and do it. And so what you're looking at here, oh no, I need my little, yeah, this works. I'll wash it out. And what you're looking at when you're looking at the red oolong is a tea that is not ouch. So last time I stubbed my toe on the live stream. This time I burned my finger. Anyways, at least I didn't swear. So what you're looking at when you're looking at the red oolong is something that is, I've done the whole spiel. I won't do the whole spiel again, but basically you're looking at an oolong that goes not all the way to a black tea, but just before it hits the black tea, it goes into the fixer. Now, what is the fixer again? It's the big, super high temperature drum. And what it does is it stops the fermentation / oxidization, whatever you want to call it, or knocks it back to basically zero. And so it goes through that and it fixes it just before it turns into a black tea. So you're looking at sort of the oxidization levels anywhere from maybe 75 to 85, something like that. And what that does is it creates this flavor profile that is absolutely gorgeous. It is a flavor profile that has usually red fruit, sort of like cherries or stone fruit. And then it's got a really, really, really nice sort of smooth malty aftertaste. Now, this tea right here is the tea that is from the Taidong area, from Luye, and it's good, but this tea was picked in late summer. So if a tea is picked in late summer, or sorry, this is July, and the teas, especially in the lower elevations, if they're picked in sort of the hot season, they're going to have a little bit of a tick to them. They're going to have like a bitterness and astringency, something to them that's just not quite right. Now, these guys, when their summer times, are basically the winter times. Their winter times, their summer times. So in the winter time, it's south of Taiwan, in the Taidong area, so south of here. And in the wintertime, they create the most amazing teas. Like I've got a buddy who goes down there every wintertime, and he's a tea master, and he goes down there and he makes teas. And I keep telling him, I say, go in December. That's when you got to go to this place and get these teas. You go in December. And but usually they don't sort of let him go and make tea in December, which is unfortunate. But but December, January is where the tea that I usually have on the site, which is the honey black oolong, is made. Now, this is the same tea from the same place, from the same garden, but unfortunately, it's made sort of in the hot summertime heat, and so it's got some flavor characteristics that are sort of sweet, but it's just not there. It's not what I'm going to get, and it's good for sure. It's good, but I'm just not going to get it. I'm going to put it over here. Now, these are the two teas that I've already ordered that are coming in that are going to be on the site soon. Now, this one here is an extraordinarily unique tea for a lot of different reasons. But this is in the past I've called it the converter, and I don't know whether I will call it the converter going forward. Now, why is that? Well, the reason before I called this tea the converter was because it's an Asamica, and it really had an Asamica, like it tasted like Lipton tea bags, but I call it like next level Lipton or something like that. And it was recognizable as sort of an Asamica. It was recognizable as Asamica. It had that taste, it had that flavor profile. It was nice. But what was the problem? The problem, of course, being this doesn't have that same sort of flavor kick. Now, it's sweeter, it's fruitier, and the aftertaste has that real strong strength, but it's not really recognizable as Asamica. Now, I'm still going to call it Asamica. Maybe I'll call it like sweet Asamica or something like that. I'll probably call it sweet Asamica. Actually, that's probably what I'm going to call it. Formerly the converter. But this was picked in sort of the late May, early June time period. And this bad boy has been bitten by bugs. And so there is this sweetness to it that is, for an Asamica tea, is amazing. It's amazing. This has been bitten by bugs. And so you've got this deep strength in the background, but the upfront is sweet red fruit. And it's weird. It's weird. It's a weird tea. And it's strange because like I was saying before, red oolongs. Right? And so we're okay. We're not too bad. The phone's not gonna crap out from the heat, which is nice. We sort of reached into the fall. As you can see, I'm just sort of wiping. I've got my towel here. I'm sort of wiping my face because it's still pretty hot. But we're officially in fall, and I think fall started today, which is nice. Which is nice. It's been a brutal summer. Anyways, point is with this tea, it's the smoothest, sweetest Asamica I've ever had. It really is. And it's been bug bitten, and it's done in a way. Let's see if I can pull out one of these leaves. It's a red oolong. So they usually call this, like the people who make this tea, they usually call this a black tea, but it's not a black tea. It is absolutely an oolong. And you can tell that it's absolutely an oolong because you have leaves like this one. And this one is a touch of green. It's uneven oxidization. So there's a touch of green in this and sort of just like a lightness to this. And it's hard to tell. But you can sort of see there's sort of it's not black tea, right? That's not black tea. And that's an oolong. And so there's a touch of greenness to it, a lightness to it. And I'm going to have to change the name because it's smooth, but in the background, and right now I can feel it. Like I really can feel it. Like in the background, there is a strength to this tea. It is strong. Like it is like, it's really, really strong. And as you can see, I really enjoy it. I really do. I really enjoy this tea. I'm trying to I've been told, I don't know, I've been told, maybe it's just because I shaved off the big bushy beard, but I'm trying really hard right now to get back into shape and been controlling my diet and things like that. And so, as you can see, I haven't worked out as much as I had in the past a little bit. But anyways, uh, it's I think it's just the bushy beard. But anyways, this is better than coffee, right? So this is way better than coffee in the sense of giving you that kick. And so I've been trying to replace my coffee with this, right? And I know it's relatively sacrilegious, but in the morning I usually have a cup of coffee. But I think I'm going to move to this and try to bring this into the frame and see if I can replace my coffee with this. I haven't tried it yet, but I bet you with some cream, this would be even just beautiful. Anyways, this is coming in on the site. Okay, let's get to the star of the show here. And the star of the show is this tea right here. Now, this tea is the organic Alishan red oolong. And the organic Alishan red oolong has not been on the site for about 3 years. And the reason it hasn't been on the site for 3 years is a couple different reasons. The biggest reason is it's not made all the time. So this is an Aboriginal guy who lives like right on Alishan, right? And he has this organic garden. And what that means is sometimes he can make tea, sometimes he can't. He doesn't give it fertilizer. He doesn't do anything to it. I've been there, just overgrown with weeds. And so in the past, he's won all sorts of awards. He does all that. Like, he just does an amazing job making these teas, just amazing. But sometimes the tea doesn't work, and sometimes it does. And so also his wife had an illness, and so there's all these things that happened. And so he didn't make the tea, and then he made the tea, and I didn't buy it, and then blah 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 blah. So about 3 years now. Now this tea is absolutely legendary, because I still have people after 3 years asking, when's the Alishan Red coming back? When's the Alishan Red Oolong coming back? When is the Alishan Red Oolong coming back? And it's funny because it was an absolutely beautiful tea years and years and years ago. And it was one of the first times, I think, for a lot of people when they've had like a really gorgeous, creamy, sweet, clean red oolong from one of these terroirs that are so famous. And so it was one of the first times people had really, really had it. And so it kept in people's minds. It was also a spectacular, spectacular tea. Now, this one here, I'm always thinking about it. I'm thinking I might actually put a little bit of a disclaimer, because it's good, but it's not exactly the same as the tea from 3 years ago, right? It's a little bit less creamy. It's a little bit less creamy than the tea from 3 years ago. But if you've never had the Alishan Red Oolong, and also too, I get this problem all the time in myself and anybody who has been drinking tea for a while. They know, you find a tea that you love, and then you get next year's tea and it's not quite the same, and you go, oh, it's not quite the same. And I've had this happen so many times, for me, for customers, all these. But the person who tries it for the first time, like, amazing tea, this is so good. Wow, this is great. This is amazing. I love this tea. And it's such a great tea. It's such a great tea. It's sweet and it's tart. Now, usually with the tartness and sort of that darker tea tartness that sometimes you can get, usually that's not really, and then it resolves into like sweetness again. Anyways, it's if you've ever had tea from this garden, this is the organic Alishan garden. If you've ever had tea from this garden, then you know exactly what I'm talking about when I think I call it like pure, unpolished, and true. I don't know, some sort of thing, something like that. But it's very much the case. You're having experience. right? It's unpolished. Now, if you get something like the Pear Mountain, that's polished, right? That's like a gem that's just absolutely beautiful. But whereas with this one, there's bug bites and there's different sized leaves and so when you it's like like if the like the Pear Mountain Oolong is like a polished gem that you're getting from the store. This one is much more like you're in the river and you pull out a beautiful piece of jade and then you go, whoa, what is this? Hold it up to the sunlight. But it's got jagged edges and it was banged around by rocks and stuff happened to it, right? It wasn't perfect. And but it's got that sort of that natural beauty to it. And this is exactly the same. So this is exactly the same. So what you're looking at, you drink the tea, right? Up front is creaminess. Then you get this sort of a tartness in the mid mouth, and then there is a quick change to red fruit malt, and then the aftertaste just lingers and lingers and lingers, and it's gorgeous. Like it is such a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous aftertaste. And but that mid mouth sort of tartness is, it's part of the whole, the development of it, and then it lingers like maybe a little bit of caramelly stuff. It's not roasted, but there is that sort of that candy sweetness coming around in the background, something like that. There's just so much going on, and if you've never had the Alishan Red Oolong before, you are just you'll enjoy this, right? If you like red oolongs, if you're a fan of the genre. But the caveat is, if you've had the red oolong before and you're like, oh, it's the same tea from like 3 years, it's not the same tea from 3 years ago. That tea was sort of like a sweet, creamy candy, if I remember correctly. And that was basically it. That's what it was. This has got more stuff going on. Anyways, it's 3 of them. And what time are we at? We are at 10 o'clock. There we go. So please do not worry if you see F-16s flying over. They go from here like that. Don't worry. They're gonna 3 of them came down. They go like this. They peel off and they do bigger loops. And they come and they probably fly behind me there. But please do not worry. This is not like I say it every time, but I don't know if you ever seen that video of the. There was a coup. I think it was in Burma. Anyways, there's somebody at the presidential palace doing like an exercise show, and then all these tanks showed up in the background. It was nothing like that. It's totally normal. It's such a rich, complex, beautiful tea. It's like pu'er in a lot of ways, right? There's so much going on. It's like pu'er in a lot of ways. But obviously red oolong. But it will be on the site on Sunday as well. So all the things that are being released on Sunday, we got Alishan Gaba. We have I got a jasmine green oolong. So there's a beautiful jasmine tea. I've been waiting to get a jasmine tea for a while. Jasmine green oolong, gorgeous tea. There will be the sweet Asamaka will be there. The this one here will be there, and I'm waiting for. If you get the subscription, if you bought a subscription, I'll probably send out an email today. But there's going to be a delay for a couple days because this year, well, actually, I haven't decided yet what exactly I'm going to do. The green wild cultivar, southeast wild cultivar oolong is also going to be on the site. So, anyways, there's a bunch of teas going to be released on Sunday, and what was I going to say? So, I can't remember. Oh well, I'll drink some more tea and see how it goes. Now I remember the greenish high mountain fall oolong. So the chilai. I've already ordered the chilai, but there has. So my buddy up on Chilai Mountain had sort of a family emergency. Not quite sure when that tea is going to come in. Then Pear Mountain Oolong has been delayed a little bit. I'm getting those samples in. And the Jade Mountain, I'm getting those samples in this week. So this subscription box, depending on how fast those, I'm going to get it out by Friday. but there has been delays. I want to get those springtime tea, or sorry, those fall time oolongs and do a blind sample of the three. But we're just going to have to wait and see. Um, that might have to happen in uh, October. Uh, and this might be just like a red oolong box, because there are some really beautiful red oolongs that I got my hands on right now. And so I think it might be a red oolong box. Now that I'm thinking about it, you know what? I think this might be a red oolong box. And but yeah, that might be a way to do it, to pull it off. And then next month I'll do the. See, I love doing these live streams, right? Because it helps me think. It helps me get out my ideas. And so there we go. So I can do it as a red oolong box. Because all those teas will be in. And then that way I can get it out by maybe Thursday or Friday. Well, Wednesday even. That would be perfect. That would be absolutely perfect. Anyway, so this month is going to be a red oolong box. So I'll have a blind taste test of. I'll probably go get some more Louis red oolong, and I'll get some. So Louis red oolong, and the sweet Assamica, and the Alishan red oolong, and then I'll see if I can find another red oolong or two somewhere out there. See if I can find some, because I'll do one that's like not a very good one, and I'll see if I can figure that out. And yeah. Anyways, so there we go. Covered the teas. I am sweating, but I'm not absolutely melting. Does anybody have any questions about anything so far today? It's seems like a slow day in the social media verse, and I hope everybody out there is having fun, sort of in North America. Anyways, this is the North American time zone, right? So I hope you're resting, having fun, going to the seeing friends, building up some great memories, getting ready for the sort of the start of the new year, school year, work year, whatever else is going on. I hope you've hedged for the volatility in the markets that are about to hit us, and that you are having an absolutely wonderful weekend. And I hope that you actually have an absolutely wonderful holiday tomorrow. If you're in North America, if you're in Europe, what are you doing up? Go back to sleep. It's 4:00 in the morning. And if you're in Asia, in Taiwan, go for a walk. I hope your job is going well if you're working, and I hope that you have an amazing lunch and the rest of your day goes really, really well. So did you guys hear that one? That was the bihu, which is the lizard, which is the gecko, right? So there we go. So funny. I never ever use the English word for that. So I got to go through the Chinese, and then anyways. Okay. I'm drinking your orange blossom milk oolong tonight. Well, Mr. L, I am extremely jealous of your caffeine tolerance. I cannot drink caffeine after noon, or else I cannot sleep, which is, no, I shouldn't say that. 3 or 4 o'clock. I can push it to 3 or 4 o'clock. But if you're drinking tea in the evening, I wish I could. I mean, I drink tea in the evening, but it's sort of the tisanes or the herbal teas. That's what I drink in the evenings. But I am very jealous of your caffeine tolerance. But that tea is a beautiful one for the evening. That tea is really a beautiful, beautiful tea for the evening. And it's a great nightcap. I mean, usually I drink the chamomile. That's another thing. So this year, for the tea show season, my goal is 2 things. One, get some really, really roasted teas. Like I'm going to get some really dark roasted teas. That's number 1. Number 2, I'm going to find me as many herbal, tisane, caffeine-free type of teas as I possibly can. And I'm going to try and buy up as much as I can of those types of teas and put them out on the site. because I think that's something that is, I think that's an important thing to do. I think it's an important thing to do, to give people the option to have something other than, because there's so much crap out there. There's so many terrible, terrible tisanes, right? Excited about heavy roasted oolongs. So that one, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try. But the problem is, and it's a big problem, if you like heavily roasted oolongs, chances are you've had yan chas and sort of the teas from China, and oftentimes it's a lot like show pour. Now, show pour is right pour or cooked pour. So that's the stuff where if you get a really good one, it blows you away. Like when you say it's wormy in a positive way, right? It warms you up. It tastes wonderful. It gives you wonderful body feel. And then you get another one and it tastes like fish, right? Like fish, like rotten fish, and not like umami, like Japanese fish. No, like literally been sitting on a compost pile in the heat for 3 days fish. And if you try that, you're never trying show again, right? You're just never going to do it. It's the same thing with the roasted teas, the roasted oolongs especially. Oftentimes you just get these horrible roasted teas that people can't sell, so they just throw it on the roasting pile and do the same thing. Like it's just low quality. It's just an ashtray. And so people like roasted oolongs. They probably tried enough to know, and anyways, it's a tough sell unless you're somebody who's really, really good. Or I shouldn't say really, really good, who has paid their dues, right? Who has suffered. And you paid your dues. You paid your dues to get you to the point where you are able to understand roasted oolongs. And pleasing those people is tough because they are amazing. Roasted oolong people are amazing. They are spectacular, amazing people in the sense that they have a level of knowledge that I could only hope to ever get, right? And so for me to be able to put a roasted oolong out there that hits their taste preferences and taste profiles is tough. But I'm gonna try. And so I'm gonna try to do that, and I'm gonna do the tisanes. So that's what I'm really gonna try and do. And this year too, I'm also gonna try and do a live stream walking through the tea show and try and get people to come along and see if I can get people sort of to come along and tell me. I'll have a little ear thing and say, okay, where should I go? Which direction, guys? And then we can walk through the tea show together. And so I'll try to do that. So, yes, to recap, the honey black oolong, I got to wait until sort of December to get that. I'm getting some of this in, which I'm going to call sweet Assamica, which is the converter, which is an Assamica made into a red oolong. It's beautiful. It's got real, like, down below strength to it because it's the Assamica cultivar from low elevation. Then here is the rich, unpolished, and true organic Alishan red oolong, which will be on the site and be released on Sunday. So I know there'll be some people that will be very excited about that. But the caveat, of course, is it's not exactly the same as the one from 3 years ago. So there we go. So everybody, thank you so much for watching. I certainly hope you have an amazing morning, night, evening, and all of that. If you have any questions about any of the stuff that I've covered, throw them in the chat or get in touch, and we'll see you next live stream.